Purim is a magnificent holiday, probably the most joyous that we have in the year, but at the same time difficult to understand within the general Jewish tradition. The exact statement from the Talmud, Masechet Megillah Daf Zayin, page 7a, Machayev inish levasume bepuria, a person is obligated to drink and even get drunk, in terms of the word in Aramaic, on Purim. Ad lo yoda bein Baruch Mordechai va'arur Haman, until he can no longer distinguish between praising Mordechai and cursing Haman. What do you mean get drunk? It's forbidden for anyone to enter the sanctuary if he is drunk. It's permissible to give a halachic decision if you're drunk. Forbidden to give a halachic decision if you're drunk. A person is supposed to be sober at all times. Why do we have this strange commandment, really? Machayevinish. A person is obligated. And especially until he can no longer distinguish between praising Haman, cursing Haman, and praising Mordechai. Why is that the issue that's so important? Why would anyone think they're similar? Now, I'd like to ask another question, a general question. It'll lead us to the answer. Who are the heroes of Purim? Unquestionably Esther, who put her life on the line in order to save her people. Mordechai, who led the Jews and stood up to Haman, and was certainly a great leader of Israel. However, it took them a long time, both Mordechai and Esther, to become Jewish leaders. If you look at the Megillah story, the story opens with a very big, major bash that was given by King Achashverosh, 180 days of partying. And everyone was invited, including the Jews. And everyone came and everyone drank and ate, and no one was forced to drink and eat. But there was no allowance for a Rabbanut Hashkacha. Certainly not Badatz. There was no kosher certification, not even an OU. Nevertheless, they ate and drank. Esther is a Persian name. Astarte. Star in Persian. Marduk, Mordechai, another Persian name. Esther is taken to the king's contest, which was a nighttime contest, a sexual contest, and she goes. No protest. Now it's true she was taken, but it doesn't say she was forced. And the truth is, when you look at the picture of Persia at the time of the holiday occurred, it is a country whose Jews were in the throes of assimilation. The fact that Mordechai, for example, tells Esther not to reveal her Jewish background because he wanted her to become queen. And he wanted to have his place as an advisor to King Achashverosh. It's a picture of a Jewish people very much assimilated. If you even look at the language in the beginning of the book, of the scroll, of the Megillah scroll, much of the same language is used for the palace of Achashverosh as is used in the Bible for the beauties of the sanctuary of God. The Jews confused God's sanctuary with Achashverosh's palace. And in the beginning of Mordechai's awakening, he understands that he can't play footsie with the Persian government. It's become totalitarian. Haman is a terrible anti-Semite. And he realizes that Esther must reveal herself, he must reveal himself, and they must fight openly against Haman. And he tells Esther she must do the same thing. That's when everything changes. And that's when Mordechai and Esther become real hero and heroine. And the Jews win the day, at least temporarily, because they're still in Persia at the end of the story. And there's a very wonderful but strange and even frightening midrash. In the beginning of the book of Exodus, chapter 1, and the Jewish people paru v'yishritzu v'yirbu v'yatzmu b'ma'od ma'od. The Jewish people multiplied, and they became very mighty. But the words for multiplied was pru yishritzu uravu v'yirbu. They multiplied, they swarmed like reptiles, and they became many. Now this description is a negative description. There were many, many Jews, yes, but they were like reptiles who are impure. And they went to all the places they shouldn't have gone to. That's what the Midrash says. To the porno places, to the bars, where they shouldn't have gone to. In other words, they were beginning to forget that they were Jews. The very next verse in the first chapter of the book of Exodus, of Shemot, is a new king arose who did not remember Joseph and who persecuted them. There's a law to Jewish history. God promises us we're an eternal people. But we're only an eternal people if we remember that we're Jews. And hopefully we will be faithful to the Jewish traditions wherever we are, and we have been for many, 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 many centuries. No matter what. However, if we begin to forget and start to assimilate, God will send us a leader, a ruler, a cruel despot who will remind us that we're Jews, forbid intermarriage, persecute us. And that's exactly what happened in Persia. And so I believe that that's the point. The Jews have to drink until they can no longer distinguish between praising Mordechai and cursing Haman. Haman, to a certain extent, was necessary for the Persian story, the miracle story, to have taken place. Haman reminded the Jews that they were Jews. But if we need a Haman to remind us, then it's really too bad. because the despot who will remind us will also make it very difficult for us. So for us to truly be happy on Purim, it's necessary to get a little drunk and to have a little help for the happiness from the drink. Purim Sameach.
חג פורים, חג גדול ליהודים, מסכות רעשנים, שיר בריקודים. אבל הרישה רש רש רש, אבל הרישה רש רש רש, אבל הרישה רש 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 ברעשנים.